Okay, this is the third video for 7.2, and we are going to be looking at two different properties today. So the first property is the zero exponent property, and I think you're going to really like this one because it's very, very easy. So the definition is for any number letter raised to the zero power, it equals 1. So for examples, if I would have 6 to the 0 power, it equals 1. If I would have 2/7 raised to the 0 power, it equals 1. So basically, it just goes away. Okay? So let's look at a couple examples. If you look at this, you have 12m to the 8th n to the 7th over 8m to the 5th n to the 10th, and it's all raised to the 0 power. So since everything is raised to the 0 power, then it equals 1. It's that simple. Because if you would go to distribute the 0, what's 8 times 0? It would be 0. So they all would end up going away anyway. Okay, the next one, we have m to the 0, n to the 3rd over n squared. So if you look at this one, the 0 power only goes to the m. So the m is what will disappear. And then we have n to the 3rd over n squared. So here you have the same base, and we are dividing. So you want to subtract your exponents. This would be from the other video from yesterday. So 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, the next one. You have everything raised to the 0 power. It equals 1. Goes away. Okay, this one. You have x to the 0, k to the 5th over k to the 3rd. The 0 only goes to the x, so that's the one that cancels out. Now you're left with k to the 5th divided by k to the 3rd. So you subtract those exponents. So 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, the next property is the negative exponent property. So the definition is any number raised to a negative power. You have to get rid of the negative. And the way that you do that is you flip it over the fraction bar and you make the exponent positive. So for an example, if you would have 2 to the negative 4th, you would put the 2 in the denominator and then make the 4 positive. And 2 to the 4th is 16. Likewise, if you would have x to the negative 4th in the denominator, you flip it over the fraction bar and put it in the numerator to make it positive. So flip over, make positive. Okay, so let's look at this example. You have x to the negative 4th, y to the 9th, over z to the negative 6th. What I like to do for these is I automatically draw a fraction bar so I know which is the top and which is the bottom. And then I just look at each variable. So x to the negative 4th, that can't be negative, so it needs to flip down to the bottom of the denominator, and then you can make the exponent positive. The y to the 9th is already positive, so it just stays in the numerator. And then the z to the -6, it's in the bottom now. You need to flip it up to the numerator and make the 6 positive. And that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This one has a little bit of stuff to do with it. We have 75 p to the 3rd q to the -5th over 15 p to the 5th q to the -4th and r to the -8th. Okay, so once again, I'm going to draw a fraction bar so I know. The 75 divided by 15, you just do like you would normally do. So 75 divided by 15 is 5. Now, if you look at everything else, you're dividing. So here's where you can do a little shortcut. Okay, you want to pick the bigger number, then subtract the numbers, and then put the answer where the bigger number was. Okay, so if you look at the p's, you have 3 and 5. 5 is bigger, so we are going to subtract and do 5 minus 3, which is 2. Since the 5 was in the denominator, the answer p squared goes in the denominator. Okay, move on to the q. You have -5 and -4. Which number is bigger? It's the -4. And remember, you still have to subtract even though these are negatives. So write it as you read it. -4 minus a -5. When you look at this, you have a double negative right here, and that changes to a plus. So then what's -4 plus 5? 1. Where is the bigger number? It's in the denominator. So q to the first power goes in the denominator. Then when you look at the r to the -8th, you don't have anything to subtract with it. So this needs to be flipped over into the numerator and made positive. This is not difficult. You just have to go step by step. Okay, so let's do another one. We have a to the -2nd, b to the 3rd, c to the -5th. There are no variables to subtract, so we just have to basically get rid of these negative exponents. So draw your fraction bar. A to the -2 needs to flip down to the denominator and make positive. B to the 3rd is already positive, so it just stays there. And c to the -5th needs to be flipped up to the numerator and made positive. Okay, here's another long one. So you have 36, x to the 5th, y to the 8th, z to the 3rd, over 9, x to the 4th, y squared, z to the 6th. Draw out your fraction bar. Okay, actually divide 36 divided by 9. You get 4. Then look at each variable. You are dividing, so you're going to subtract the exponents. Which number is bigger? 5. So 5 minus 4 is 1. The answer goes in the numerator because the 5 is in the numerator. Okay, look at the y's. You have 8 minus 2, which is 6. Y is in the numerator. The 8 is in the numerator, so the 6 goes in the numerator. And then finally, you have the z's. 6 is bigger, so 6 minus 3 is 3. But 6 is in the denominator, so the z to the 3rd needs to go in the denominator. Okay, so your homework is going to be worksheet page 12 all. Make sure you do all of those, and you will be able to ask questions, turn that in on Teams. Let us know if you need anything.